My name is Mike Ward. I'm the Global Director of Content in Former Pharma Intelligence, the publishers of Pink Sheet, Scrip, In Vivo and Generics Bulletin. I'm here at the BioEurope Spring Meeting. It's being held in Amsterdam, where the biotech, pharmaceutical and investor communities get together to start negotiations and discussions about potential deals. I'm joined by Giovanni Mariggi, who's a principal with Medici, which is a European based fund. You guys you have venture funds, but you've also got a growth fund that you established last year. Raised $300 million with limited partners such as Verily and Novartis. Yeah. So Giovanni, thanks for joining us. So the growth fund, how's it going at the moment?
Yeah, so we've been operational with the fund probably about 12 months. We actually hit the ground running doing first investment in Obseva, which is a Swiss-based women's health company with a few assets. They've got their lead asset is currently phase 2B for endometriosis and phase 3, GnRH antagonist. That's sort of the lead product, which will have some hopefully interesting data halfway through this year in endometriosis. And they've also got an IVF drug that recently read out phase 3. I think probably the most complete placebo-controlled study that has been done in the space, showing actual 32% improvement on 10-week pregnancy. So good hope there. The other company that we've also invested in is a company called Dizome in the diabetes space. And there the technology is really a liver targeting moiety that brings insulin to the liver, which is where physiologically insulin has most of the activity and allows the liver to have a buffering capacity. So there was some early clinical indication that this was going to have some advantages, and we'll soon be reading out phase 2B. So hopefully reporting data on that soon.
Okay, so I mean that's pretty interesting, just from the point of view that a lot of the investment that goes into sort of biotechs these days is earmarked for the sort of the immuno-oncology or the sort of the oncology space, and yet the sort of the two first financings you made are not in the oncology space. So could you sort of explain how both those companies fit in with your investment strategy?
Sure. So for us, the growth fund is really we really set that up and raised that fund to take advantage of some of the opportunities that we have taken advantage of in the past, where we had done investments in Micromet and Area, two oncology companies actually. When they had just had some initial clinical data, because our bread and butter has always been early stage, idea to proof of concept, but we felt that the platform that we have built, the diligence and the network, also meant a lot of the time brought us these type of deals where companies that had gone forward into the clinic and now we're looking to raise larger rounds to do phase 2Bs, phase 3s and take the product to registration. So I don't think it's out of design that we haven't done any oncology yet. In the IO space in general, we haven't gone all in like other funds have done. We have played our part there. We've got a company here in the Netherlands, Gadeta, which is a gamma delta TCR company, probably the first one to really claim a space there. And also we've got Ultrahuman, which is a company that has got a portfolio of IO assets there that we'll be going a bit more public with in the near future. But I think it's really, the important is clinical proof of concept, whether it's a phase 1B, phase 2A, depending on indication, and now looking to expand the development plan, looking to raise considerable amounts of money to start charting the path towards registration.
So was MG1 the only investor in those investment rounds for the two companies?
So, well, for Obseva, no. Obseva already had a good syndicate, blue chip names, which we, very happily joined. Dizome was a bit of a different case. Had been backed more by private individuals, and had come to us through network. An investor had become an advisor to the company with whom we'd worked in the past, and therefore that's how we got introduced there. So there's going to be a mix. Also, one deal that didn't fall in MG1 because of timing was Impact, which was this phase 3 asset that was spun out of Sanofi for myelofibrosis and Celgene acquired at the beginning of this year. So that again is another phenotype of project companies we're going to be looking at.
Right. So, I mean, sort of, going forward, you sort of say, right, okay, it's proof of concept you're looking for. What else does the CEO or the founder have to have in their bag to attract the attention of Medici?
So, I think we're always look at fundamentals to begin with. So for us, it's always, there's clinical data. People say clinical data trumps biology or anything else. I think we still want to see that, first of all, that rationale of biology, why this target in this indication, maybe this is not the right indication, maybe an additional one. So we want a nice understanding why this is where the company has gone. And I think also the important part is for us to have a good understanding, and that's where we can also help out in what is the next right step to take, right? Is it to expand into an almost pivotal type study, or should we do another dose ranging study to really titrate and refine the study going forward?
Because of course with your earlier venture funds, which tend to be very asset centric, take the asset to a value inflection point, and then look to sort of see if a pharmaceutical partner would like to take that on. What is the sort of the expectation for a good result with the MG1 fund?
So, I think it's probably a bit more broad what the options are there, right? I think if it makes sense to take the product all the way to registration, that would be fantastic. We would love to get involved in those kind of opportunities. We have been involved in the past with these things. Agerin is a good example. We were involved from very early on to first commercial sales, taking the company public in first commercial sales. In other cases, there are indications where phase 2A is probably more on biomarker and early clinical indication of efficacy, and where larger phase 2B will then convince a partner to come in and, on hard clinical endpoints, that's the time when there's interest. So, I think it's going to be on a case-by-case basis where we feel the finish line might be or what a success might be.
Okay, and finally, so when you look to sort of your make selections for which companies you're going to invest in, are they likely to come from ones that you yourselves have identified, or are they likely to be ones that somebody comes to you and say, hey, take a look at this, whether it's the company itself or maybe another syndicate member?
Sure, I think that will probably reflect very much what happens in the early stage, which there will be a portion that will be sort of internally generated, actively seeking, very much like Upseva was. We knew Ernest well. Some of the partners I worked with him in different times of his career, both at Serono and at Ipsen. And so once the fund was live, we said, let's connect. And then there are things that we look at, network bringing things in, entrepreneurs in the network pointing us out, or as well as syndicate members that share that with us. So we're really exploring that space in a variety of ways.
Okay, great. Well, Giovanni, thanks for
stepping
by. Cheers.